No mai haere mai. It's the Huddy Hui. Book huddysports.co.nz.
Kia ora, good evening and welcome to the Huddy Hui. And is a person who's well known in secondary school rugby, and we'll have him. G'day folks, welcome back to the Huddy Hui. Sorry, we had a little internet issue with the fibre, so we just had to switch over to a new one. But Huddy Hui tonight, club season nearly 3 weeks away, and joining us, someone that is well known to secondary school rugby here in the Wellington region. He is now based back in Melbourne these days. Our guest on the Hui tonight is Eric Lawson. Eric, many thanks for coming on the Hui. How has your summer been and what have you been up to?
Thanks for asking me to be here. I was expecting it, but summer's been good. I've just been working really. Moved back to Blenheim or Marlborough, full-time working now as a quantity surveyor, so pretty much it, yeah.
And quantity surveying, what's the workload like for that, you being a young guy getting into that career?
That's all right. It's not, I suppose, the all tradesmen at the moment, pretty quiet in Blenheim. It's probably like that all around New Zealand. So everyone's looking for work, so jumping on anything that we get the opportunity to price. We're doing all right though. We've got enough jobs lined up, but it's not too busy a job. So bit of work.
Where are you playing your footy these days? You're based back in Blenheim, where you grew up. Who are you playing your footy for?
There's not really much choice at the moment who to play for. There's only one Prem team now in Marlborough. So
oh, really? Wow.
Playing for a club called Central, yeah. It's all died.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame because, old Marlborough was pretty much a strong rugby powerhouse. What are some of the reasons behind that?
Oh, it's probably quite a few. It's hard to point one, but I suppose you look 5 years ago, there were another 5 Prem teams and they've all sort of folded. It's just playing numbers are gone. But there were 2 teams last year, but they pulled out a couple of weeks ago. So we've sort of combined up, made one team. It's a pretty strong team, but a few too much for one team, but not enough for 2, I suppose. So just not enough players. That's the reason.
And so what does that mean? Do you have to go over and play like the teams from the other sub-union, being Nelson Bays? What does that look like for the Central this season?
Yeah, well, it's the same as last year, really, but it's like a Tasman competition, so you play all the Nelson teams. They used to have a Marlborough round and a Nelson round and then a Tasman round, but now last year being 2, now they're only being 1. We're just going to Nelson every second week, so going over the hill. Bit of a drive to go play rugby, but have to do it. Otherwise, there's no games for us.
It's one of the challenging environments of rugby at the moment, particularly the club scene. And it's interesting, now Tasman's been a pretty strong NPC team, but what can they do to turn around the grassroots in the region?
Oh, I mean, it's pretty hard to say, I suppose. It's what everyone's trying to fix. You just somehow got to get people still playing rugby, but I don't really know the answer to that one. I can't tell you.
So what's the team looking like this season anyway? The Central team. When does the club season kick off?
Starts in I think it's a bit after the Wellington one. I don't know the exact date it starts, but still a few more weeks away. We've got another pre-season game coming up, playing Lincoln from Christchurch, so we're playing them. Then I think maybe a week or 2 after that, then we've got our season starts. But I think our team looks all right. I mean, we lost in the finals last year, so we went all right last year, but hopefully we can win it this year. We'll see.
Who did you lose to in the final last year?
Kahurungi, so they're the Golden Bay and Motueka team. So combination of 2 clubs there, Rewalker and I'm not sure, I can't remember what the other one's called, but yeah.
As mentioned earlier, Marlborough is home for you before you had your stint in the capital city. What was it like growing up in Marlborough? I hear you came from a little town called Seddon.
Yeah, so I grew on a farm out of Seddon. That was good. I love growing up here. I suppose, country kid. Do what you want. I suppose good fun, but yeah, it was a bit of a shock moving to Wellington. Very different. I went to boarding school there, but yeah, that was good.
As back there in Seddon, was you play for the local rugby club there, or was it Central?
Nah. Have my local team here. It's called Awatere, but then they did have a Prem's team a few years ago. They were East Coast. They were combined with Kaikoura, and then that fell through. Then they combined with another team, but Central's not my club or my original club. It is my club now, the last 2 years, but growing up, played for another club, Awatere.
So, when did you move to the capital, and in particular start at Scots College, and how did you find schooling at Scots?
So a lot of kids where I'm from go to boarding school. So I went to obviously Scots in Wellington. A few mates there went to Nelson College. Maybe a couple even go down to Christchurch boys from the AU, but no, he went to Wellington year 9. I enjoyed my time at Scots. It was quite different, but no, I think it was good. I enjoyed it. A lot of mates, still mates with now, but yeah, that was good. Academically, they pushed you a lot harder than what we were back here. I remember I showed up year 9 and they were telling us all this stuff that we should have learnt last year and all this, and I had no clue what they were talking about, but caught up pretty quick.
How do you find Scots being a private school compared to being, previously probably at state schools?
No, I mean, it was fine. I didn't really notice it being a thing. I mean, you get a lot of crap from the other schools around Wellington. You walk around wearing your blazer, you might get a bit of stuff said to you, but in school, they're all real nice. Like, I mean, you wouldn't have picked like most of your mates you don't think of as, it was good. I'd recommend. It was a good school, yeah.
Of course, you played in an era at Scots College where the rugby program was very strong across the time in the Wellington region. How did you find the rugby program there?
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought Sam Rash, he was the head coach pretty much the whole way through. He was good. Got us all involved. It was a good step up, because you play playing. It was weight graded, but I ended up playing under 15s 2 years. That was a big step up from here. Just the size of the players, a lot more of those. A lot more bigger boys. I suppose what I was used to back here. I was reasonable size growing up. Then I moved to Wellington first year in under 15s. I think I was just about the smallest in the whole grade, so it was quite a big shock for me. Yeah.
In particular, rugby program at Scots, when does it actually start? Does it start right smack bang and once you get back to school in January, or is it still around February, March?
I think first couple of weeks, I can't exactly remember, but I remember starting school and you pretty much get back into rugby training straight away. It's not really training at the start, it's just a bit of touch and mucking around maybe the first week or two, and then just fitness sessions and all that, just getting ready for the season, then cranks up closer. But no, I think it was good, sort of how they did it, try to get everyone along, make it fun at the start before you start running it. But yeah.
You mentioned Sam Rash before, but who are some of the other key influences for you during your time in the rugby program at Scots College?
So I suppose my first year in the first 15, Mr. Hall, he was there. He was also he's one of my teachers as well, so that was good. But he was quite good. But obviously Willie Leota, who's passed away now, he was a real good coach. He looked after us real well. He was a good man. And Tane, he was probably just about my favourite coach actually. Yeah, I enjoyed him. He was a good coach as well. He understood us all quite well. Related to us all, I thought, yeah, he was a good coach. And obviously Sam, same thing, can't say anything bad about him. He was good.
You mentioned Tane Tui Pilotu. You also have played, you play in the backs. What did you learn from him in particular about being in the backs from his time with the Lions and the Hurricanes?
Well, I think he was quite. Actually, you talk about Tane, cut out, didn't you?
Yes, correct. Yeah, Tane. Yep.
Should be. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, he was. That's why I probably liked him the most because he worked with us probably, especially being in the midfield when we're doing midfield trainings. He talked to you a lot on about defense, on how to read the lines and who's coming up and where to stand. He sort of, yeah, that's what I learned quite a lot off him was probably a lot on the defensive side. He sort of, instead of rushing up and like not biting it on your man and sort of just holding an extra couple of seconds and all that. He's just, yeah, I learned quite a bit off him. Probably mainly defensive side, yeah.
Now, of course, injuries are common in a contact sport like rugby, and you've had your fair share of injury challenges. What were some of the injuries you had while at Scots? And in particular, you missed quite a fair chunk of your Year 13 season.
Yeah, I've had a pretty bad run. First injury didn't end up really being a big deal because I tore my meniscus playing touch. Would have been started of the Year 11 season, but Year 12, sorry. But COVID happened, so everything got pushed back. So I was all recovered by the time that season started. So, but then later in that season, Year 12, I think it was the game or two before the finals. We're playing Stream, and I broke my leg.
Jeez.
That put me out for the rest of the season. Then come back Year 13, all healed, trying to give it a good go, and then I ended up spraining my AC joint. We were playing a pre-season against Kings or somebody, and
I think it was Kings. I think I
sprained
commentated that game.
Yeah. I think. Anyways, then we played a game against Napier. I remember I had a few games in between. I can't exactly remember what team, but I ended up dislocating it a few times, and then that shoulder got buggered. So I pretty much missed majority of the Year 13 season. I think I might have played 3-4 games. I don't even know. But it was my shoulder. I've had big problems with my shoulder in Year 13.
From all those injuries you've mentioned, how do you keep yourself motivated? Some of those injuries are quite massive, broken leg, shoulders, but how do you keep yourself motivated and determined to get back out there on the footy field?
Yeah, good question. I ended up having surgery on both my shoulder and my leg, sort of the end of Year 13. So I actually pretty much missed my whole first season out of school just from recovering from my surgeries. But yeah, I think for me, I was getting frustrated. So I was injured. I'd go watch rugby games. I hated watching because I just wanted to be playing. So I kind of that first year, I pretty much just took a step away from rugby and just sort of forgot about it. I mean, just was a first year student for a year, really. It's not probably the best way of doing it, but that's what I did.
Now, of course, you had 3 years for the first 15. Who was your debut against, and how many games did you end up playing for the Scots first 15?
My debut, I don't know if you counted or not, but I remember I was quite nervous. But I was Year 11. It was a preseason game against some American school that was, can't even tell you the name of the school, but they were touring around New Zealand and they played us a game. But I think my first proper game, it was our quad tournament, and it would have been against St Andrews. And sorry for how many games I played. I think I got to about 46 games. Didn't quite get the 50th. So I didn't quite get my 50th game jersey or cap or whatever. But yeah, I was a bit gutted about that.
2019 was a strong season for Scots, but also for yourself. How special was that season?
Yeah, no. So what was that? Was that my Year 11 or Year 12?
I've been Year 11, I think it was. Yeah, Year 11. Yep.
Yeah, so that was my first year. So that was pretty special. When I wasn't really expecting to be in the first 15 that year. I had a goal, so I want to get a couple games at least, try and get on the field, but just sort of worked out. I ended up getting a good run. Ended up also getting my cap that year. Yeah, so I got my cap when I was 15, so got a good run of that. That team, we were pretty stacked. We had some pretty good players, like Roderick, Solo, Ethan Webster-Nodu, Sage. We had quite a few good backs that I was sort of on the end of. So I was on the wing, so I was on the last man. So I scored a few tries just a few catch and put downs just off them. Yeah.
First 15 won 3 titles in a row. Which one was your favourite? Probably not the 2021 draw.
Nah, definitely not. That one, that didn't feel like we won. It felt like a loss. We didn't even get to take the trophy back either. Stream grabbed it, so it didn't feel like a win at all. I don't think they felt too happy about it either, but we'd won it the last 2 years, so we were pretty gutted. I think they were a bit more chuffed just to at least get half a win, but definitely not that year. That whole season was quite frustrating, really, with just being injured all the time. And then I didn't play in the final either in the year before that, my year 12 year, because I'd broken my leg. But I'd say that season was probably my favourite season leading up until then, because I thought I was probably playing my best rugby then.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
That final was a crazy game. What was it like playing in an empty stadium, no one there watching, but also the team having to come back from being 20 points down after about 20 minutes when Toby Crosby went right? Tell us what it was like playing in that stadium, but also bouncing back from what was quite a big margin.
Yeah, playing in the stadium, it was quite weird. You could hear everything. It was echoing. But because it was a curtain raiser for the Lions game. So there's a few of the Lions boys, ex-Scots boys and Stream boys that sort of stuck out on the field and watched the game. So it was like, the Umaga Jensons and all that. You could hear them, but they were pretty much in the coaches. But anything that got said, it was just loud and echoed. The whistle was quite loud, remember that. But, being down, I feel like they scored 3 tries within however long it was. It just felt every time they touched the ball, they just ran through. I think we lost it for a couple of minutes, so it just felt like, we're going to get done here on TV. That's the thing I was most worried about, getting embarrassed on TV. But, we came back, so we should have won that game, really, because we were winning. They had scored on pretty much full time to draw it, so. But, anyways, can't win them all.
What was your best game for Scots in your time there?
I think, I don't know if it's necessarily my best, but I'd say when I was year 11, actually, it's probably my favourite one for probably recognition from people at school was our semi-final against St. Pat's Town. We just won that game. I can't remember the score, but I scored 2 tries. So no, I don't think at school no one really knew who I was until that game. So
it's the 2019 game, wasn't it? I think the semi-final, was it 2019?
Yeah. At Scots,
we remember that game very well here on Huddy Sports. We were in a gazebo that collapsed midway through the game. So I remember the weather was terrible that day. So
it was terrible. Yeah,
it wasn't great. So of course you've played centre and wing, but what is your preferred position and why?
I prefer 13. Wing's fine. I play a bit there as well. I think 13, you're just sort of a bit more involved, feel like you can get in the game a bit more. Wing is good. I probably score more tries when I'm playing on the wing, but when you're in at 13, you sort of feel like you're sort of helping the team a wee bit more, I suppose, and you get a bit more action. I like to tackle as well. You make a lot more tackles at 13, so on the wing, sometimes you can go a whole game with only making a couple, so yeah.
Who was the one teammate that inspired not only you, but the first 15?
Probably, teammate, probably, you've got to say probably Roderick.
Yep.
Solo, yeah. He, just because you're so good, really. You couldn't touch him really. Anything he did, he was just so much better than everyone else. So I'd say him. Also a nice guy. Everyone liked him. Real nice family. His family looked after a lot of kids at Scots in their time. So I'd say Roger.
Your brother Jake has just finished up at Scots. Did you actually get to play alongside him at all in the first 15, or did you just miss out on that?
Nah, so we didn't at all. Nah, so when I was year 13, he was year 10, so he was playing under 15s, and then we both played in year 11. But yeah, I was 1 year too far ahead, so never got to play with him.
And also your time at school, you played a lot of representative rugby as well, including the under-18 Hurricanes in 2021. What was that environment like?
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that. That was fun. There was only two of us that year from Scots that were in it, me and Maya. But a lot of mates from the other schools that made a few mates there. I enjoyed it. Fortunately, though, because we were meant to play the Chiefs under 18s, but they had a Hamilton, I think it was, or it must have been. They had a COVID breakout, so ended up not being able to play us. So they sort of chucked together a Wellington team and a Manawatu team and sort of combined them. Then we played them. But no, apart from that, no, it was good. Good coaches and stuff were there. Enjoyed it.
Who's the toughest player you've ever played against, and why?
Oh, against. I actually can't remember his name. You might be able to tell me. He made New Zealand Barbs. He was the AOT in midfield.
Oh yes, I know who you're talking about. I just can't remember the name. Yeah.
Yeah, because there were other midfielders that made high honours and all that as well. But I don't mind marking them because I was normally fast enough that if they sort of got a bit of a step on me, I could stay in front of him. But if he stepped, I couldn't stay in front of him and he was gone. So I'd say I only played him probably like once or twice. But I remember we went out there, we still killed them, but he just felt like every time he got the ball, he was just killing us. So I'd say him.
You're also pretty handy at touch rugby as well. How'd you go with touch rugby? I believe you made a New Zealand team. And what skill sets did you take from touch into rugby union?
I played touch. Played it growing up here in Marlborough and then went to Wellington. When I moved to Wellington, then I kept playing. I was the under-16s. I made like the New Zealand development team. We did like a week camp up in Auckland at the school, King's College. Plays touch. It's completely different game to rugby, really. Not a lot that actually really crosses over apart from, I suppose, the passing and stepping and stuff. But I suppose a lot of fitness, running, but probably it definitely helped my skill set, I suppose, of passing, chucking long balls and all that. So I'd probably say, probably my passing is probably the biggest thing I learnt from touch. Yeah.
As you mentioned, after Scots, you had a year off. You spent a few years down in Dunedin. What did you do down there?
So I was studying quantity surveying. That's what I'm doing now. I got a job. But so I went down there. I did 2 years of that down there. First year, didn't play any rugby. Well, that's a bit of a lie. I played, I think, one game for one of the Colts teams at the end of the season when I got cleared. And then I played a game for the Otago 19s against Southland. But, so I played 2 games that year. Then second year, played for my club down there. But no, I enjoyed it. I was, being a student. First year down there, sort of free, doing what all Dunedin students do, I suppose. Yeah.
What was the club you played for down there in Dunedin?
Tyree.
Oh, yeah, the Tyree Eels.
The Eels, Mosgiel. Bit far out, bit of a drive from Dunedin, but not too far. But sort of went there just because there was a couple of mates in my hall that were out there and, country club felt a bit more like home. So I thought, may as well.
Oh, might as well too. And how did you find the footy down there, and how's it different from playing in Wellington and now in Melbourne?
It is different to Wellington. I would say Wellington felt, it's a bit more. I'd say Wellington has some bigger sized players than those other areas. A bit more, I suppose, how teams play with those bigger players. A bit more running rugby at times. I think Wellington does do that. They still have all the same players, if not better. But you don't come across a forward pack, full of all massive islanders that can just run through you. So it's probably the biggest difference, really.
Who's the first game up for Central in the competition in Tasman this year, and what will the opposition be like?
I think first game, I don't know. I think Waimea Old Boys. They'll be right. I think this year the team, Kahurangi, defending champions, they're probably the team to beat this year still. I think they've lost maybe a couple of players, I think, but I know there's a few boys that have gone there, so they've sort of replaced them. They've got quite a good team. It's also be interesting to see how Marist goes. They've always been quite strong. They sort of fell away last year, but they've got quite a good group of sort of guys my age. But yeah.
And of course, Jake, this year he's finished school. He's actually playing for Old Boys University. So have you heard how he's been fighting that environment?
Yeah, no, he loves it. His hall is the one that's right above the turf, so he doesn't have to go very far for trainings.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so no, he's liking it. They had a game the other week, I think, went all right. I think he's saying they're going up north to play someone. I'm not sure who, but sort of the squad's been cut down a wee bit and he's going up, so I think he's chuffed about that.
Oh, that's great news. Excellent work for him as well. But Eric, it's been great having you on the Hui, and it's good to see you again, and no doubt we'll maybe see you up in the capital city when you're next up. Take care, and all the best for your rugby season this year.
Cheers. No worries. Thank you. Catch you later.
So that is Eric Lawson, of course, played in those Scots teams, that 3 titles in a row, and he's having a good time down there in Melbourne as well, and it's good to catch up with him. Well, here on Huddy Sports, we're starting to ramp up with some of our events now. As mentioned, club rugby's only about 3 weeks away, but tomorrow we have some water polo finals to bring you. They're being played out at Te Nainai Pool, used to be called Nainai Pool, and one of those is a straight final, a girls' final. So we'll bring you those details later tonight on our Facebook and Instagram and on our websites, those water polo finals. And also on Friday, we'll be bringing you some volleyball finals as well. So keep an eye out for those. And then the following Tuesday, we are bringing you the College Sport Wellington Touch Rugby finals from Fraser Park. So events are all starting to creep up here, and Huddy Sports, where looks like it's going to be another busy year ahead. Well, many thanks for watching the Hui tonight. We'll be back next week as we count down towards the start of the club rugby season. I am Brad Hudson. Ciao for now.
It's the Huddy Hui. You can find Huddy Sports on Instagram and Facebook. And check out huddysports.co.nz.
Here on Huddy Sports, we like to thank our sponsors that have always been grateful to our causes here on Huddy Sports. Our first sponsor, Mike Penfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited. If you need any drain laying or plumbing assistance, give Mike Penfold a call on 027 430 4351 or Penfold Plumbing at extra.co.nz. Louise Reddy of New Zealand Travel Brokers. If you need any travel advice, she's local here in the Hutt Valley in Petone. Call 021 135 3076. Louise Reddy, Louise.Reddy at nztravelbrokers.co.nz. And also to Gavin Murphy and the team at Jen Hickton Funeral Directors. They've been serving Wellington families with their funeral directoring services since 1946. So go to jenhickton.co.nz. They're all local people here in the Hutt Valley and Wellington that service our greater community. We also like to thank Ben Belushnik Visual Designs that helps with the graphics here on Huddy Sports. As here on Huddy Sports, we're always wanting to keep our content free on YouTube, So the idea of sponsors, we can promote you on live stream, our social media pages and our website. It's good to support the local community and helps keep Huddy Sport free for all to watch. So if you're interested to helping Huddy Sports, go to huddysports.co.nz or to our email address, huddysportsnz@gmail.com.